Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by co-host Miguel Porter. We have been away for a little bit, but we're back. Miguel, what's up?
Nothing much. Yeah, it's good to be back. It was a longer break this time.
Yeah, we're in the post-state championships lull right now,
Yeah,
about to embark on the off season. How's your break been?
good, good. Um, Good to get some rest in for sure.
Yeah,
That's been nice. Yeah,
yeah. We typically take 2 weeks off because I time my vacation right around the state championships, right after it. Last year, did you take a full 2 weeks or just 1 week away from all things training and whatnot?
I think I took a full 2 weeks. Yeah,
Okay. And you did that this week? Any CrossFit workouts pop up in there?
no, no.
Just resting, rest and recovery.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. How's the hammy
Um, it's good. It's mending on the heel.
on the heel? All right. All right. Yeah, it's a waiting game, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna take a little bit. And I don't know. You've had these hammy tweaks before. Has it ever been where like you thought you were in the clear and all of a sudden there's like a little thing, you're like, oh, like 2 weeks after you thought you were good to go, you move a certain way and it rears its ugly head. Does that ever happen to you?
right. I think that's a lot of what it is um the basic kind of things or even moving around kind of feels all right again. But it comes up randomly, like
Yeah.
even just turning too quickly and like pivoting, you like get a reminder that it's not 100% back yet.
Okay. Well, we have to put the Albany CrossFit Combine after state championships next year.
Yeah,
So that,
or
yeah,
earlier in the summer.
earlier in the summer so you can recover your hamstring.
Right.
Is it almost a guarantee at this point that it might happen if we're sprinting? It seems to be a common occurrence, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe it's the lack of sprinting that is getting me here where
We got to build up to it.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we could easily put in, you know what? If we had a hill at the gym or near the gym, that'd be a great thing to add to any class, CrossFit, barbell club, right at the end of a session, do some hill sprints. It'd
Yeah.
be amazing. I don't know. Is there a hill anywhere near us that's easy to get to?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say no, not really.
No. Well, we're just gonna have to build one. Just gonna need a lot of sand or a lot of dirt. We can
Yeah.
we can build a hill. Yeah, the closest thing we have is right out there by the shed, but that's not going to do much.
Mhm.
So, ah, well, I'm glad that's healing. Day one of off-season training starts training. Training starts tomorrow, so that's exciting. I'll let you know what that's going to be off air, and we'll see if you want to be involved with that. I think it could possibly help.
Yeah.
I think it could possibly help what we have planned. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into the gym. Not that I've been away from the gym 100%. I've popped in here and there to bring stuff back, and I've done a little bit of coaching at other gyms actually while on vacation to prep for my level 4. I went out to Yuba City, California for the Knowledge Pro mentorship weekend, and I taught a class out there. That was rough because I was up at 4 a.m., traveled back in time to California time, and then coaching the 5:15 their time, which it's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock our time, whatever it is. And so yeah, that was rough. I was like,
Yeah.
boy, am I tired,
Hmm.
but it went well. Well, I got good feedback, not the feedback I was expecting. Isn't that weird? When you get feedback on your classes, is it like never the things that you thought that you were going to get feedback on, and it's always something off the cuff?
Um, it can be. Yeah, I think sometimes we have an idea of like what our strengths and weaknesses are. So we're
Hmm.
expecting feedback to go into those realms, and sometimes, yeah, it's something completely separate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly what my experience was. The workout was for time 21, 15, 12, 9, 6, or actually, no. 21, 15, 9, 6, 3. I kept adding a 12 in there
Mm.
because it just seems like there should be one of toes to bar, burpees, and wall balls. So short, fast workout. Uh, Definitely a larger class than I've coached in a while. I had 16 people come
Yep.
into that class. And that weekend, some of the people had 34 people in class. Like this gym was having regular 30-person classes that the other coaches were having to figure out where in the world am I going to put these bodies? Because no one in the group is teaching 30-person classes regularly. They
Yeah.
just kind of told their members, hey, we're doing this. Come on in. We need bodies. And boy, did they answer the call. But it was like every little class was like an event. So my feedback was that I just kept getting too in the mix with the athletes on cueing when teaching things. So let's say teaching the wall ball, instead of being further back away from the group and seeing everybody and cueing from there and giving feedback, I would just zoom on in and like, hey, Miguel, pull your chest up and like, kind of do it like I guess more akin to a smaller class. If there was
Right.
5 of you, I can just sidestep and I'm at you. I can shuffle over here and I'm at Dan. So it's just one of those things on like if you're not teaching those big classes, like really big classes regularly, you're just not used to that. And then you just get lost in the weeds with the athletes, which that wasn't really the feedback I was looking for. I was like, hey, you got to teach this better. You got to do that better. But that was like the main thing is like try to teach from the bird's eye view of the class, which is
Mm.
funny because I feel like I have been doing that because I haven't been as mobile for a very long time, and that's kind of like been my default. And now that I'm feeling good, these legs are moving. I'm like, oh, I can get to Miguel now. Why wouldn't I go over there? And I'm
Right.
excited to go over there. So I have to like weigh myself back a little more and not be in the mix. That's one of the things that I'm really going to be trying to work on going into the level fours, not getting lost in the mix with the athletes, like just kind of being just outside of them, not in the circle, outside the circle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that was cool. I got to teach how to make a paper airplane. We did these little breakout groups where you had to pick a skill out of a hat, and one person had teach the group how to do a dance. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't get that one, Miguel. I'm so glad the right person in the group got that one. If you know what I
Mm.
mean, like I would not have been happy doing that one. Someone had tie your shoe, teach Turkish get up, so there was some regular movements in there. I got how to make a paper airplane. And the challenge of the drill was one person in your group was deaf. They had ear pods on playing music, so they can't hear you. And another person was blind. They had a blindfold on. So you have to still teach the whole group and figure out strategies. How do I get these other two people to follow along with what we're doing with either verbal or tactile cues or really, really good instruction?
Right.
So that was and again, my feedback was I was kind of planted at the table that we did because I had the blind person and deaf person right near me, and I didn't break away to go around the rest of the group. And then of course the rest of the group was the boys,
Hmm.
and boys will be boys, and like they like if you leave them to their own devices too much, they're gonna start talking, doing things. So that was again, it was kind of like it's funny how no matter what you're teaching, if you have an issue going on, your flaw keeps coming back no matter the
Right.
situation. Do you notice that for yourself? Like no matter what the workout is, the one thing that like you need to get better at, it just keeps rearing its ugly head.
Yeah, because you have your mindset of like, it's really just your own preference and how you like to do things and what makes the most sense to you.
Yeah.
So you're always going to default to that. And it's more active to try to go against that. So for sure.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely I feel like I needed it, to kind of like show me those things and to get outside of the Albany CrossFit environment.
Right.
Because it's I I didn't feel the way I felt at those classes ever at Albany CrossFit. I'm just
Hmm.
so comfortable there. Like that's like your house.
Yeah.
It's like even when it's on fire, and the workout and everyone's crazy. It's like we'll get through this. This is fine, like and it's definitely different trying to command the room with 16 people who they've never met you before and I've never met them before and I don't
Yeah.
know what their issues are. Like if you come in, I know right away Miguel's got tweaked hammy. that's that's a leg up on if it was a coach coming in who has never met you before. He don't know that, and he might be trying to ask you how to do things, and maybe mid you didn't tell him at the whiteboard, and then mid deadlift, warm up, you're like, oh, actually I tweaked my hammy last week, and he's like, okay, let's deal with that then. So it was really good. uh, Positive feedback I got was I'm really good at relating to people and making people my friend right away, and remembering everyone's name. People like, how did you remember everyone's name during that? It's like, well, one, before class, I introduced myself to everybody. Like as they were coming in, hi, I'm James. I'll be teaching this class. And one person's name was Miguel. I'm like, well, I'm never going to forget that one, like
Mm-hmm.
because I say that name all the time. And then so it's just using their names regularly. And but within that, there was a flaw that popped out too. I didn't realize I was doing this. I would tell people they're doing a really good job. Let's fix this. Good job on fixing that. So a compliment sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And what they recommended I do is just nix that first one right off the bat. Like just like hey Miguel, push your knees out. Good job on pushing your knees out. Instead of, hey Miguel, you're doing a really good job, in the workout. Now let's push those knees out. Good job pushing the knees out. Like just get faster to the point. And like you don't have to make everybody feel good the whole time. Like they were already bought in, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to keep loving on them the way that I was.
Hmm.
I need to be harsher, colder, more more distant, if you will. Right? Isn't that like kind of like the whole thing?
Essentially, yeah. But I guess that's feedback you needed, right? Because for the level 4, it's just going to be like a random class. So
Yeah, random class. Like, um, I already had their buy-in by the time the whiteboard brief was done.
right.
Like they were laughing. I had a couple good jokes in there. You gotta. I was on the plane around. I'm like, what are my jokes gonna be? Like, you gotta. You like. I like. How do I get these people to love me right away? That's a hard thing to do on all these. That's 32 eyeballs that are looking back at you, and you don't know anything about them. So just, I had them right away, and right in the warm up, we're coaching every step of the warm up. They're laughing. These people are bickering. Oh, okay, we're gonna face off in the workout. Just like playing off of everything that they're giving me, and that, so I didn't need to keep doing that. I had
Yeah.
already gotten it. So I guess like realizing with a group you don't know when you got them.
Mm-hmm.
um I guess like an example might be like in stand-up comedy, like you already won the crowd over, so now
Mm-hmm.
just do your act, and they're gonna love what's going on. You don't have to keep trying,
Yeah.
so to say. So that was fun. It was a great experience. It was cool watching the other coaches there coach their classes. It was interesting seeing the rules of the gym, because every gym has its own culture,
Yeah.
and their culture is different from our culture. Just what people do and where they go. And right afterwards, when I got home, actually no, over the weekend, I messaged Kayla from CrossFit for the People, because I've been talking to her and other gyms in the area. I'm like, hey, can I come in and do this there? And I was like, well, hey, yeah, like things got a little crazy during the summer. Like once August hit and state championships sold out, my life was tied to that meet. There was no time to do anything
Yeah.
else. So, but now I was able to get into for the People on Thursday, coach class over there.
Nice.
So I coached Nancy, and that was a similar challenge, but now I knew what I had to work on. So when I was teaching the overhead squat, I'm all the way up here, front of the
Yeah.
room. And I'm like, hey, Kayla, push up harder onto the bar. Hey, you squeeze your abs, all that stuff. So I think I did a good job on working on that feedback. The challenge there was, again, the cultural differences in the gym. When they started coming in, everybody was grabbing their bars and a PVC pipe, setting up their spot. They were pulling out rowers and bikes already. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, like, no,
Mm-hmm.
like let's, so having people put it away, because I want to build the class with you.
Yeah.
And where you're putting it may not be where I had it envisioned. So that was probably the main challenge there, on just when they were coming in, they already knew what they were going to do. So I need to bring everybody back and be like, let's restart on
Yeah.
a fresh page. But yeah, that went well too. I thought Kayla's going to send me some feedback. Um,
Nice.
and I was able to remember everybody's name on that. No name tags this time. So they had name tags back in California. No name tags at this gym. Not that I used them in California. You just kind of don't even realize it's there
Yeah.
after a while. But yeah, that went well. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Got to keep doing it. I'm in training now. Like that's me going to train. Like
Mhm.
like at the gym, I'm working on things and whatnot, but it's like a little different. I can only work on things so much there when you automatically do what I want you to do, even if you don't know what I'm talking about. Like so I've noticed that too. Like at these other gyms, people at our gym are just so used to like what I say or what you say that when we say something, and even if it doesn't make sense, they might still just do it the right way. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Right.
Have you experienced that when you're coaching? You're like, I don't think I said that well.
Yeah, it's like we have it a lot in barbell club too, but yeah, everyone does it where you're bringing down the bar to the knees and the shins, and you're doing that a few times, and you might say the shins when you mean the knees,
Yeah.
and people will go in the order that they know,
Yeah.
that
I'll
makes
I'll
sense.
I'll,
So
I'll say shins, and you guys are like, no, we're supposed to be at the knees.
yeah,
Yeah, because sometimes it's just late in the day. But yeah, it's a funny thing, and then you learn those things right away when you either have a new person in class or you're with 14 people that you've never met before, and they're all like, we don't know what's happening right
yeah,
now. So yeah, it's fun. I'm talking to Chad at Avitas right now. He gets back from I think a vacation or a trip later in October, so I'm going to try to get out there. Of course, I'm going to try to get out to Sona, and I'm going to do this as many times as I can before December 6th. And then
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
yeah.
So that's fun. You think you'll ever try stuff like that eventually? Just like if you're like on vacation at like reach out to the gym, hey, can I pop in and coach a class?
I don't know about vacation, but yeah, definitely. I mean, even it's funny because yesterday I was with people from I think like four other different gyms in the area, and we had a similar conversation about just the like you said the different culture in some of the gyms where even going into a warm up, like we're lucky in that everyone does the warm up.
Oh,
um
really? Oh, yeah. I remember this. Yeah.
right, like they're which I don't I mean, maybe when I first started, but not even really at our gym ever. But when there's like a bigger crowd and some people are just not into it, and just outlook. Um, so yeah, I would say like there were like five gyms represented, and we all had different experiences of like, yeah, everyone always like that's not negotiable. Of course, everyone's doing the workout. Some people are a warm up, and yeah, other people have the experience of others heading to the bathroom right as the warm up is starting, and they come back at the end. Or warm up means that they're going to check their phone, and just like different things like class starting time and number of people in class and cap space, and does the cap really mean anything, and how are we going to fit all these people. So yeah, I was definitely thinking about that yesterday in terms of like what it would be like to pop into another gym and like coach one class or a couple classes, or even just to go there and just experience it, and even like give those coaches feedback potentially
Yeah.
as well. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. I know that a lot of the people that are on seminar staff or just some of the OG CrossFit coaches out there, I feel like, because I hear them talk about it all the time, whenever they go to like a town, they try to find a gym and they offer to coach a class just just for funsies and just to
Hmm.
keep the skill sharp. And we heard a story that one of the mentors who came in, he coached a class I think Thursday before we all got there, and just completely blew his lesson plan and timeline. And it's like it's good to hear that too, that those people, like, this is hard for them too. Just coming in, they've never met these people, and they're like making mistakes, or like they'll get someone that comes in 10 minutes after they started everything, and then in a class that big, they're like, wait a minute, who are you? Like, where
Yeah.
where did you
Yep.
where did you come from? So it's good to hear those things, and I think it's I think it's an interesting challenge to give yourself,
Hmm.
So I would definitely like to do it more. I actually thought about doing it in Pittsburgh when I was there for the national championships week for
Yeah.
USAW, but getting my Uber to get me there and back in
Yeah.
between my other assignments, and then finding out that they needed me more. Well, I'm glad I didn't offer to go coach at that gym. Like I was kind of just, I needed to be just chained to that meet and let them have my body,
Definitely.
And my big ideas on like getting across town and coaching across the class coming back. It would have been fun. I think that's something to save like when I have more freedom over the schedule. Like if I'm going out to the Arnold, okay, cool. Let me go to that gym, coach a class for fun, meet those people, come back, and then sign up for whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be easier to do. But yeah, I would like to do it more, even after the level 4, just new challenges, and it's a lot of fun because you go to the gym and you're like, look at that poster, look at this, look at that. I really don't have an opportunity to go to other gyms because I'm at ours
Yeah.
all the time, So yeah, a lot of fun. How's your coaching been going these last 2 weeks?
Good. It's interesting. Sunday, I think as fall comes more into play, maybe the Sundays will start to pick up a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
but I do find there are periods where it's really like a personal training type of Sunday mornings are tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it's like personal training. Even I filled in for a couple 6:15 classes these past couple of weeks where it was PM, where it was like similar on a Monday, um, kind of like one-ish person or one or two. Uh, Today's class was a good, really good energy actually, a good amount of people there, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
had a
It
good
was
time.
about 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, four.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and those personal training days, that's you can do so much on those days. And
Right.
like the challenge there is like, how do I bring the energy and how do I make this class special for this one person?
Hmm.
Like, am I going to run the same gameplay or I can really, really, make it unique for this person and personalize it, and work on things like, okay, I just need to look at one person. I'm going to teach them how to do the sumo deadlift high pull. I don't have to worry about looking all over. I can really be like, am I seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing on this person and
Right.
get them the best technique for that day?
And there's a lot less time with going to grab your equipment. We don't need the 2-3 minutes. It's 30 seconds because it's just you.
Yep.
And yeah, so you take that time and you use it to go, okay, well, if you're going to be scaling this way, let's take more time on this instead of going through this entire progression because you're not at this point yet, or or tweak it to be like, here's where I want you to end up. So
Yep.
today we're going to focus specifically on these positions so that you can get to that point later.
That I'll adjust the progression specifically for them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. And then still let them try whatever the full thing is. Like I know members, they always feel bad when they're like the only one, or like not always, but I know a lot of people like, oh, I shouldn't have come in. Miguel could have like not had to work the hour,
Hmm.
or they're like, oh no, all eyes are on me. But it's like, man, we're gonna do so much good work. I need to make sure I don't kill you because it's only you. Like you said, we have so much extra time, and I don't want to like beat you into the ground. But boy, are we going to be able to practice those pull-up drills. We're going to be able to talk about it. You're going to get up there. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. You can like really like just give them such an experience. And that's what they get. Like that's their prize, if you're going to call it something,
Yeah,
for coming to
definitely.
class. Everyone else who's like, nah, I'm going to bed. I don't want to do that workout. I'm not, you missed out. You missed out. And that's Patrick's the one that's going to win today because he's
Hmm.
going to get that extra stuff. That's real cool. That's like the fun one is when it's muscle up day and you get that person that's like right on the cusp of it,
Right.
and it's just them, and you're like, you're getting a muscle up today. We ain't leaving until you get a muscle up, and then they do, and it's a great day. That happened to me once way back at the 8:30 class, way back, and it's like I'm gonna sleep good today because I got you a muscle up,
Yeah.
and we may, but the thing is like we may not have had that kind of time to do it in a 15-person class. Like
Yeah.
it's a little different. It's a little different. Well, that's cool. Any challenges pop up?
I wouldn't say challenges, but it is different. Like we said, the time is different. The timeline isn't exactly the same. Um, you may end class with, if you go the way that it's, the projected timeline of a full class, you might end up ending like 15 minutes early because so many things are expedited.
Yeah.
That break, that bathroom break where, a few people always have to go and this person by themselves doesn't have to. So you're like, okay, we gain those minutes back. No, I wouldn't say real challenges. We kind of just went over like, okay, making them feel like they're gaining something from being the only one here. Like this
Yeah.
is, you're lucky now that it's just you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had a few of those and they're different, but they're also fun.
Yeah. And maybe it starts to get you to think outside the box too. I know over the summer at one point, I had just Leone and Shy for a regional type workout that was, I think it was snatches and burpees over the bar and maybe overhead squats, something like that. And I set up the room so they could advance the bar after every set
Right.
of burpees and snatches. And it's like, I want to give you guys like a cool, like something we can't do. If one
Mhm.
other person comes to class, we can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, but like, it's just easier with two of you and to have lanes and you guys can race each other. And then like, you're like, oh, Shy's one burpee ahead. Come on, Leone, don't put down that bar.
Yeah.
Um, maybe start thinking like that. I'm like, hey, what's unique about this workout? How can I like jazz it up a little bit? But then also, what do I do if 30 people show up? How am I gonna cut down that lesson plan just a little bit? That was something that I did in California and at For the People. I had a game plan like written down on my lesson plan, and then I was like, nope,
Right.
not doing that. At For the People, I was going to teach the overhead squat where we would do like 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and then you know more people came than I thought were going to. Kayla was like, it could be 2, it could be 12, and then 14 ended up showing up because
Yeah.
she put it out there. I'm like, hey, we need bodies. Can people come? And 14 people came. So, and I wasn't able to get them in a circle or rows where they're tightly packed together because the rig is in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
So I had to have 2 long rows. And I was like, you know what? I'll show them what the overhead squat looks like, which, by the way, first overhead squats I've done in a while. I decided I was going to see if I can do an overhead squat, demoing it in front of that class. And I was going to see if I can do a wall ball, demoing it in California after that long day. I'm like, I haven't done a wall ball in years. Let's see if these knees can handle it. So I like to put myself in high pressure situations, Miguel, like where it's do or die, like
Yeah.
do or die. Like, so like, because like, there's no way now that they're all looking at me and I just said, here's what the overhead squat looks like. There's no way now I'm not going to do it. Like, but if it's here, right here, like my brain's like, no, I don't know about today. And yeah, it doesn't feel right. Let's stop.
Yeah.
So I changed my progression to full overhead squats every single set, but let's just put a focus on each one. So
Yeah.
we do 3 with me, 3 on your own, and all we're doing is active shoulders, pushing up on the bar. Then we keep that. Then I want you to focus on keeping a tight belly. Then let's get deep and go all the way down. And I'm pausing them along the way. That's what the progression turned into. And then I let them do a set of free ones on their own, just keeping it all together versus the way that I originally planned on doing it. Like having almost multiple lesson plans in your head and be like, crap, not going to work. We got to go here. We got to audible.
Yeah.
I see. I'm just getting back into football. That's a football thing, right? Where you change the play on the fly. How do they do that in the NFL? How does this work?
There's usually some kind of signal. It's different for each team, or quarterbacks have their preferences as well. It's usually like a code word or something. You just say a different code, and sometimes it's not that big. Sometimes you just change the direction that the ball is going. Sometimes you have to get a whole new configuration. But yeah, it's usually just like code words on the fly. Like everyone's already set up and you have to reset up.
Okay. So let's say everyone does a general setup on the line matched with their guy,
Right.
and I'm the quarterback, and I see something fishy happening with the defenders or whatever they are, and I yell out "rogue," and you guys all shuffle,
Yeah.
and that's a different play, and then I might have to say, "Oh crap, no, virus," and you guys go another way, and then we go,
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do as coaches. You have the overhead squat, you should be able to teach it a couple ways and it fits within your lesson plan. You don't have to write them all out. You have the one that you intended to do and then you're like, "Crap, it's not going to work." Like what do? You can't just stand there looking at all of them and be like, all right, just do 10." Like that's not going to work. Do you do you have you been in situations where you've thrown an audible like that?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say most of the time, but almost kind of. I mean, you have your layout of here's what I want the progression to look like, but sometimes you see the way that people are moving and your point of emphasis may come at that moment because you see everyone doing the same thing, or you see, like today with chest to bar pull-ups, um, I was kind of thinking of the open in the way that they do that as a scaling option. So, all right, everyone, let's work on this if you're going to be scaling today. Um, we're doing chest to bar and toes to bar. So let's really work on the Superman in our kips in cycling into the next movement. So that became more of a point of emphasis than I had originally planned, but it worked out. I got people to move and kind of and feel things in a way that I don't know if they necessarily think of. Um, yeah, when you see somebody finally hit the position that you're talking about, and they're like, "Oh, I feel now what you were saying."
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, sometimes it's just you go through the progression and people get to their point. But again, today we had a little bit more time, and yeah, as I saw things, it made sense to kind of stop and focus on the specific positions.
Yeah. And sometimes you're just going off of the feel of the group. Hey, we're having too much fun to do this one progression. Like
Yeah,
let's do
exactly.
let's change it up, instead of doing like the long drawn out one, let's change it up, make it a little more concise and keep the momentum and pace of the class going.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll reflect better in the workout versus if you kill the energy by, all right, that's enough of that fun.
Yeah.
Now let's go, butt back stand. Instead, like just, hey, let's just get going. Push up
Hmm.
harder on that bar. Understanding those moments is important. But if you had, let's say you had two brand new people and they both brought a friend that day, yeah, you're going to do the like top down, like 2 inches, 4 inches. You're and tweak them along the way and expose them to the overhead squat. You might do that a little differently. One thing I know I could have done better at before the people class was I didn't teach them how to pick up the bar to get it to the overhead position. It was just kind of like we all understood that we're going to have to snatch or clean it up there. I
Right.
would have liked to have taught it. I didn't use the cap lesson plan that was that because we did Nancy last week where they had like muscle snatches and stuff like that. I wanted to address it when we got to the bar, but then I was like the time it took to get all the equipment when we did start it, I was like, I got to nix something. So a lot of people were doing just the barbell. I had one person use just a PVC pipe, and the people that were going to use weight just snatched it up there. But the thing is, like, I didn't say anything about it. That's a problem. So like that's been like eating away at me. Like not
Mhm.
eat, but it's like if I'm going to focus on one thing, it's like not even at the whiteboard. Did I say the bar is coming from the floor? You can snatch it overhead or clean and jerk it overhead. Like I just didn't say anything about it, and I was like, that bothers me.
Yeah.
That's like there's like boxes you want to check, and I'm like, I didn't get that one.
Hmm.
So now that's I'll be searching, but hey, it's a reminder next time I need to do that.
Yeah.
And then cool stuff with just coaching some of the more fire breather athletes. I had some that they've never done Nancy before, which it's that's also interesting because like we've done those named workouts to death in our gym.
Right.
That like yeah, you've got like 4 or 5 Nancy scores, but there's still a lot of people out there that have never done some of these workouts
Hmm.
because they just don't pop up for some reason, you know. And there was one guy, Dave, and he had never done it before, and he wanted to try RX. And you know, we were talking about like going unbroken, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I can get unbroken through the first, you know, maybe 2.5, 3 rounds." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if you really want to, you know, and you were stubborn, you could hold on to it." And I gave him that challenge. I'm like, "I want you to really try." And then it kind of, I think, for him, turned into that thing that you experienced. You've talked about this before, where you've already done it for the 3 rounds.
Right.
Now you're not going to do it for rounds 4 and 5. Like you want to check that box so badly, right? Well, can you explain what you feel internally when the goal was to go unbroken? You've already accomplished that goal for the majority of the workout, and you're not going to let yourself not get it for the remaining.
Yeah, it's like a big difference between muscular or technical failure and just deciding. A lot of
Yeah,
times it is you just decide not to. If you tell yourself there's 5 rounds and you're like, I'll go unbroken on the first 3, what happened in the 4th round to make you not be able to go unbroken anymore?
yeah,
And sometimes it depends. For some people, you have to go in expecting to do all 5 rounds, and that's the only way it happens. For some, it's sometimes it's like tricking myself of going, all right, the first 3 rounds will go completely unbroken. So that when I pick up for the 4th and 5th, I go, well, you just did the 3 unbroken. You might as well do the 4th unbroken. And then you go, I already did 4 rounds unbroken. I might as well do the 5th round unbroken.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you not going to do the 5th one unbroken? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because then,
yeah,
yeah, you're like, I already did more than half of it. What am I saving energy here? Like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
yeah. And you're so close to achieving the challenge, you know, and to all of a sudden drop it because you wanted to drop it. Like, did you come here to do the things that you wanted to do or the things you need to do,
Yeah.
you know, to get better? And with him, it's also like if you can remember things. One of I have 2 superpowers that were pointed out to me in my 2 classes because I got the same compliments twice at both of them. How do you remember everyone's name? And because I'm using them the whole time. And then how do you remember like that you in like the sea of people that you told Kaz, is a girl from California, to take her hands wider on the toes to bar, and you told Miguel that he needs to tuck his elbows in on the burpees, and you told Angel, this guy named Angel out there, it was pretty cool. You told him that he needs to hit the target more. How do you remember what you told everybody in the class? Well, it's like, you know, I'm only giving each of you one-ish thing.
Yeah.
So, and if I already remember your name, well, what have I been talking to Miguel about? Like for the whole class, like even in the skills practice, I was like, all right, Kaz, take your hands wider. You know, all right, good. Then that's all I need to give her, you know, for the remainder of class to keep improving upon it. But if I'm like, get your hands wider, pull your knees higher, push back further, unless there's like a bigger gross fault or even like a subtle fault that I need to change, I'm probably not going to. Like if we're doing the movement pretty well, if that's going to be the main limiter, because if her hands are all the way in here, how's that going to be for the kip?
Yeah.
You know, versus taking her out just a little bit. It that thing that I focused on was the thing that I deemed was going to make everything else better. So that's the only thing I have to remember. So the with Dave at for the people, I just want him to hold on. Like he was doing a great job getting deep. He just wasn't sure if he'd be able to do it. You know, he's never done Nancy before. All right, it's 95 pounds. Like we know how that is. Like that's an achievable weight, right? I
Right.
can do that. So I just made sure that in my rotation, everybody's getting back at different times from the runs and everything. When he got back and towards about the middle of his set, I made sure I was right there. because my thought was that if I'm standing there and I say his name, he'll be less likely to put it down than if I'm not.
Right.
And I don't know if he was, but since I'm an outside coach, all these things, I'm kind of trying to use my presence and attitude as like leverage on like he might be trying to impress me. He might be trying to push because I asked him to, and we already had this conversation. He's like, "Well, I'm not going to let coach down. I'm going to
Yeah.
hold on to it." I don't know at all if that's what's going in on his head. I'm just seeing if I can facilitate that. Have you found a pattern where you can do that? I'm like, maybe just my presence will get him to push
Yeah,
harder.
definitely. Um, as we all know, like even positions, when you tell someone like heels or stand all the way up, and you can kind of see from across the room that they're starting to kind of lose it a little bit. As you walk over, you can almost see it slowly, each rep getting better each time because they know that that's what you're going to say to them.
Yeah,
So as if you even like take a step towards their direction, they immediately will fix it. Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That happens. See, that's the thing of like, it's you guys are so used to it in our gym. I'll like start walking over to Josh, and he already has changed the thing that I want him to change because he knows he wasn't doing it, and I'm like, that was my line. Like I was
Yeah.
like I just had to walk over there. Or Dan does that a lot. He's like, I know what you like. He's like, oh, I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna want me to wrap my thumbs around the pull bar, whatever it is. Like it's funny. Like they know the things they should be doing.
Yeah.
We all know. But as soon as you turn around, Miguel, I'm gonna go a little slower on those burpees.
Hmm.
Second you turn around, it's just it's a fun thing. And I don't know if that's what Dave for the people was doing at all, but that's what I was trying to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how I was trying to coach him. In addition to just yelling at him, hey man, hold on to that bar, be stubborn, all that stuff. Especially the deeper we got into the workout, and then I was just trying to time myself to get there to support him in our mutual goal every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, a lot of fun. Uh, let's talk about state championships here. Speaking of fun, that was a fun and busy weekend. September 28th and 29th, Binghamton, New York. This is our third, this is our fourth, your fourth, right?
Yeah. Fourth overall. Yeah.
Well, what do you think on how far the event has progressed and since 2021?
Yeah. Like I said to you probably before this, I think every year it gets better and better, smoother. Um, yeah, the overall event itself, I think each person can say, um, is becoming more and more enjoyable. Not that it wasn't enjoyable before, but every year you can see the improvements of, feedback that either if people send in the surveys or things that the internal team observes, those things are getting addressed each year. And it's definitely been helping everyone's experience.
Yeah, got a lot of great feedback. Had a lot of people say this is the most fun they've had at a weightlifting meet. I think the energy was through the roof, like from start to finish.
Yep.
Sometimes even during the down times, like everyone was just like happy to be there. Like I think the setup and the podium just kind of added to the feel of it. Having it there the whole time, the New York State flag, the American flag, both platforms going, and that was the biggest feedback we had in years prior. Hey, we have one platform, we have nearly 200 or not 200 160 athletes or however many actually show up, and we're getting done at 10, 11 o'clock at night, which that's just the product of having one platform.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to do that. Like I don't want to be down there at 11 o'clock at night, still coaching or still trying to run the meet and then have to come back early the next morning. But it's a logistics thing on having enough help and volunteers to do that, and it's a money thing, buying all that stuff. Like everything that you saw doesn't just pop up there. Like
Hmm.
it all costs something. It all takes a lot of prep and communication, making sure everybody is going to come and be in their right spot at the right time. and it came together. It was literally a year's worth of work. Joe Rodriguez and I were having Zoom calls in October this time last year on what are we going to change? What are we going to do? We're going to go to a 2-platform meet. That was one of the things I said right off the bat we need to do and I want to do, especially after the feedback survey and some angry emails that we got as well. And, it worked out. It was a lot of fun. There were some hiccups with the electronics early on for the first session on pretty much both days. The day one we didn't use the electronics. We had to use the paddles. I don't think you were there for the Masters women because I didn't realize that there was more software that needed to be installed because all of the software is called OWL. You have OWL SCMS and then Blue Owl. And I was like, well, I have the OWL software. And so it's like, no, I need the Blue Owl software and the OWL software. And then also learning how to use a Raspberry Pi. Have you ever used the Raspberry Pi before?
I have heard of it.
It's a computer and a keyboard, essentially. And you plug it into a monitor, and it's all just imagine just a keyboard, and it's everything all in one.
Yeah,
it's really cool. We have talked about getting them for the gym in the past, and but the thing is, we're looking at the desktop where you would normally assume software goes to, and you have to click the Raspberry button. And that you scroll down, and it has like accessories or programs in there. So yes, learning how to use this new technology was definitely tricky because I had most of it here, but I'm not putting it all together here. I'm waiting to put it together out there for the first time and hoping that it all actually links together because I got the shopping list. I've got all the wires and everything, and I'm just hoping it all works when we get there, and it did. So it's just those little technical difficulties. And now that I know all these things, the next one's going to be way easier. It's like learning where all the wires go. And man, Miguel, I hate the amount of wires that we have to have.
Yeah.
Did you see all those wires?
Yeah, but wired is the best way.
It is. I dream of like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, whatever, wireless. But the nightmare that could be if it's dodgy and whatnot is yes, I agree. The hotel was nice enough to show us these. It's like a thick Velcro thing that you put over the wires onto the carpet, so we don't need to tape them all down. So I think we're going to invest in some of those. That hotel is awesome. Like the hotel staff is like, hey, we got an idea to add to the event. And it's like, that's really cool because you don't have to do that at all, and most places wouldn't. They just be like, yeah, pay your bill and good luck out there. But like they're walking around, they're like, do you want a water station? Do you want this? Do you want that? They're just really, really cool. They like our event. It's cool that they like us.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that logistics wise went well. Thank you to all the volunteers and everyone helped out. Thank you for helping, break down and everything after the meet. I'm assuming all of our plates and stuff got back to the gym. I've been there to see that.
Yeah, when I dropped off my set, I believe Jennifer had already dropped off her. And then I don't know if I've checked since, but I assume they're all there.
Yeah, it's gotta be all there. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive around for 2 weeks with all that stuff in my car.
Right. Yeah.
So I would assume that it's been dropped back off. I don't even know who took stuff. Did Haley take stuff? I should message Haley. See,
I don't think that she took plates now.
Okay, all right. So yeah, then it all must definitely be back. So, but you guys kicked butt lifting. So let's talk about it. Let's do a little screen share. So if you're listening to just the audio, we are taking a trip down memory lane on Instagram. And allow. Can you see this?
Yep.
Cool. All right. We'll start with Jennifer. When did you get there?
I got there, I think, middle of Haley's session, so I didn't get to see Jennifer lift.
Okay. Yep. Jennifer started us off at the state championships here. 3 for 6, 63 kilos on the snatch, 84 kilos on the clean and jerk. And that clean and jerk is a lifetime PR and a competition PR. And Jennifer killed it. Jennifer has been smoking these early 60 kilo range lifts left and right. And the PR is actually 65 kilos.
Hmm.
And it's just one of those things, where you can be lifting at like 98, 99% so often. And it's just that last little bit that's tough to get through. But
Yeah.
I think once Jennifer breaks through what I think is more of a mental block, because I've been there before too, where you seemingly just can't snatch anything. It's always a snatch too. It was always a snatch for me, never the clean and jerk. I was willing to die on the clean and jerk, but not the snatch. But it's once you break through the plateau, you're going to get another 5 to 10 kilos above that in no time.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to happen really, really soon for Jennifer. Let me change the video here to the make. So we decided to stay at 63. Dialed it in. Boom. A lot tighter on the lockout there. And now we're on the board. Awesome.
Yeah.
So great comeback. And then we went for 65, which this is the current PR. And I think had we made 63 on the opener, we probably would have taken a bigger jump, maybe. See, it's just I think that's not strength, that's more mental type.
Yeah.
And then on the clean and jerks, 81 kilos we opened with, and that was a opener PR. I've lost track of all of you guys' second attempt, third attempt PRs, stuff like that.
But we don't need those.
I mean, they exist. They exist. Someday I'll comb through them all. Like someday, and we'll find out. But I think it's cool that like you can see your success in so many ways. But sometimes we just focus on the big ones, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, you've never done this weight before on a second attempt, or maybe you normally missed your second attempts and now you made one. Like some people are like that. So great opener there. And then here's the PR, 84 kilos.
You're very camera tilty this time.
I don't know.
Around.
I don't know what was happening here. Maybe I was just delirious at this point. This was 4 14-hour days or 4 days in a row of going to bed at 3 to 5 and waking up, going to bed at 2 to 3 and waking up at 4 to 5. Like I did not sleep for 4 days essentially on this, which is, it's not good, Miguel. I have to stop doing things like this. But I'm really pushing my limits on a lot of things. But so silver medal or bronze medal for Jennifer, big PRs. And Jennifer and I had a good conversation after the clean and jerks because the snatch didn't go the way that she wanted to go, And I think once that opener miss happened, because we had been crushing the opener so often in training and prep, that kind of like started to seep in a little bit of disappointment early. And then we finished on, 1 out of 2 lifts made for the snatch. And so Jennifer was a little down in the dumps after the snatch. And so just like, understanding that we have still another entire half of the competition to go and we don't know what's going to happen and we have to put our effort there and evaluate after we're done. You know what I mean? Oh, are you still there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so afterwards, Jennifer was like, really, really happy with the clean and jerks and the clean and jerk PRs. And like, I've done this before. You've probably done this before. Sometimes we have to be kinder to ourselves when we're in these situations and just keep rolling with the punches. Let's move on to Haley here. Silver medal. 3 out of 6 lifts made. Oh, we missed the opener. I don't know if you were here. Were you here yet?
Yeah,
for this, or?
I was here.
Okay. And this is we're not too concerned with missing the upper. Actually, I think that's how it went in training every single time we tried this weight.
Mm.
Um, but then we went up to 70. 68 was just too light. And we made it. Was that a power?
I always say it is.
Hold on. All right, let's look again. Let's see. And yeah, I think that's a power. Yeah. What do you think?
It's right around, but I feel like it's typical. This side view is more of the view that I typically have of Haley.
Yeah.
So that's why I think so many of her lifts are powers.
I'm saying it's a power because like look at how forward the knee shifts on the catch.
Yeah.
Like how are you going to get lower if it keeps going like that? Yeah. All right. We're saying it's a power. Wow, Haley can power snatch 70 kilos. That's pretty darn good. To remember that for the PRs. And then we went to 74. Let's see if this one was a power. I haven't looked closely. No, that was a full.
Yeah.
That was a full. Okay. Hey, possibly a power snatch PR. I don't know. That 70 might have been an additional PR there that we can add to the total. So 2 for 3 on the snatch. And then we opened up with 85 on the clean and jerk. I had leggings this meet. I want to get the long sleeves like Haley has to further mask any lockout situations. It's a good idea. So crushed it. We got a total, and we went to 89, and we had an epic battle with 89 here. So we're gonna smoke the clean. And then here we go. Yeah, I am tilty a lot. I'm like moving with the lift. And we gotta walk it. Whoa. Super close, super close. I like how Erica was there to try to catch it. She's like, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
That's when I'm watching that, I'm like hoping so badly that you guys do fight for it like that. To like take it as far as you can go. When you've walked lifts like this around the platform, like how do you know when to stop? How do you know that you're at the edge, you know?
I think it's your body has like alerts to danger. Like you're not gonna you might step off the platform, but not really. Like your body has that stopping power in it. It's like the same thing in a CrossFit room. Like if you're doing snatches and somebody's like popping up and running it forward, you're going to stop right before the person in front of you.
Yeah.
For the most part. I think it's similar. Like you have that awareness of, okay, I'm moving around. I need to stop. And your body stops when it absolutely has to, for the most part.
Yeah. And if you look like literally at the edge, her toes might be even poking off a little bit. She stops, and you have to wonder if she was further back, would she just have kept the forward momentum going because she can?
Yeah, most likely.
That would have been, man, that would have, I feel like the crowd would have went crazy if she held on to that one.
Right.
But still a great effort. And then we were in a little battle with another athlete, and we put 93 kilos on the bar because that's what we had to. I really liked Haley's attitude during the meet on like one. Haley could have easily gone up to 87 and won, but Haley wanted to stay in the 81 kilo class to fight people. I think that's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's like no, I don't want to go for in a class that doesn't have a lot of people, or it's maybe a much easier win. I want to stay where the competition is. I think that's awesome. That's a great mindset to have. And then we already had a total, so we had the lead on the snatch, I believe, going into the clean and jerks, and the other athlete was opening, I think, a little bit higher on the clean and jerks. And so we just did what we could to close the gap there and then put what we needed on the bar to put us in a fighting chance should that athlete not make their next lift or two, I think.
Yeah.
Is that how that went down? Am I remembering
Yeah.
correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And so, this easily could have been a made clean here. It doesn't look heavy coming up, and Haley has cleaned more than this before. Let's take a look at this clean one more time. I haven't watched these videos in like really too much at all. Let's see. Okay, touch the shoulders.
Yeah.
Touch the shoulders. We could clean that up a little bit. But so I think that Haley's mindset throughout the whole competition and leading up to it, from a coaching standpoint, it's fun. It's fun to do it that way. It's fun to see you guys lean into competition than like not so much because like I don't know. You tell me. It's more fun for you that way, right?
Yeah, definitely. We're not always like a gamey team, and that has its benefits and I wouldn't say faults. But it
we're
does
more
have
of a stick. We have a game plan personally,
right.
and we're trying to achieve individual things at the vast majority of our meets.
But I do think that our team has the ability to make moments, to see that, okay, if I want a gold medal, I need to make this lift. And I think as we get better and more senior in the sport, that we're going to have more and more of those moments. And yeah, we got to start taking those shots where, all right, we're already secured in something, but let's put something bigger on. Let's go for the gold, or, let's risk our silver and potentially get a bronze if we don't make this, because if we do make it, we get a gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right around where everybody should be at this point and where we want to be, secure the total and then do what you need to do to win. Because I don't think the majority of you are too bothered anymore on like a 2 out of 6 day, for
Yeah.
example. Like that bothers some people, if they only make 2 lifts. Uh, Most of you guys are like, hey, I've got my briefcase and I'm going to work, and I have a job to do, and the job is more of the end result.
Yeah.
And we can look at what other people are doing and make decisions off of that. Next is me. I should send this to Kim because Kim always had a problem lifting on these big white bubble plates.
Mm.
They were Kim's least favorite thing, but I was able to return to the platform for the first time since 2020, so that was fun. And I wanted to do it for many reasons. One, the serious FOMO across how many years? 4 years was unreal,
Yep.
especially when you're in charge of putting it on for everybody and you don't get to do it. Like that sucks. So I'm finally in a position where I'm able to do stuff like this, and I just wanted to do it, And like we've talked about in previous discussions, getting past this isn't 2016 James anymore. This isn't even 2020 James anymore. This is just where you are now, and being grateful enough just to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is not doing it, which is awful. I would rather do it in any capacity versus not doing it at all.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I got to take home one of those medals and have it be official instead of just being like, I'm taking one, I did realize though that now I have to update that stupid 6 for 6 poster, which I'm not going to update it until one of you also does it, because I don't care about putting myself up there. But I was like, shit, I should have whiffed a lift just in case, or just cause, so I don't have to update that. The snatches, they went well. I didn't really warm up too much for them. I just did with the bar, a couple high pulls, one snatch I think I did with the white plates in the back, and then I came out and did it.
Yeah.
So very minimal warm up. Trying to run a weightlifting meet while doing this. Definitely don't recommend doing it. For the clean and jerks, that was actually going to be the bigger challenge because of my wrist. Yeah, you got to hype the crowd up. All right, the thing about hyping the crowd up, Miguel, is they don't keep the hype going. There's always a high point, and then everyone gets quiet again. And then there's
the weightlifting is tough, especially for snatches, because it's such a technical move. I think clean and jerks, it's easier, but also being a part of the crowd, you don't know if people need the like hype and the walkout and then like silence when they're about to pull.
Yeah.
Because that part can throw some people off. So yeah, I know the wave that it kind of goes through.
And it occurred to me after I did it, because I was like, this meet is like overall a little too sleepy right now. Like it's Sunday, everybody's tired. So I did that to try to wake everybody up a little bit and to have more fun with it. And then as I was putting my hands on the bar, I was like, shit, I have to make this now. Like,
Yeah.
like I can't not make it. And I think I put way too much on it. And this was my rockiest lift. I'm not happy about this one. And actually it's more of a gift. That I got it. That one red light there, I know exactly who gave me that red light. A deserved red light. And then for the clean jerks, the challenge again was just the wrist. I had to figure out how to do the I'm calling it the master's clean, where you pull it up and it kind of just comes up to your shoulders with your elbows down low.
Yeah.
Like that. And we're a push jerker now too, by the way. So we're gonna stick with that. My last clean and jerk went 54. Sam Axton and I from Avita's weightlifting were in the back just trying to figure out what I need to put on the bar to beat Chris Smith from Long Island Weightlifting, because he was also on the other platform and he was doing his first meet in several years after having like a complete neck shoulder reconstruction surgery type thing.
Yeah.
So I had told him I was going to do the meet, and then I told him he should do the meet, and I talked him into it, and we both decided to do it. So it was a lot of fun. And so that's why I went 54, because I just needed 1 kilo if I get that 54 to beat him by a kilo. So that was that made it fun too. I'm like looking back and forth at the monitors. Sam and I are trying to crunch the numbers. All right, what do we need here? And for that last lift there, anything I needed to beat him, I was willing to put on the bar.
Yeah.
It seemed like the upper limit could have been 61. And that's definitely unknown territory. At the John North seminar, I wasn't able to get anything higher than 50. Mm-hmm. But this is a different environment, and I was willing to put anything on there. And this one, I felt my wrist on 50, and as I was setting up, I was telling myself, I don't care how it feels. I'm going to turn this bar over and put it where it needs to go, because I wanted to beat him so badly. And then like I'm thinking about all the times like, he's made me mad or things like that, or like, not that, we have a good relationship, but when you're working so closely with people, you're going to have moments like that. So I was just trying to channel all of that. Right. And I was like, no matter what happens, I'm turning this bar over. And I'm going to tune out how it feels. And I think I told you this at the meet. I could not have done this in training.
Yeah.
Like this is only my second time lifting in several years. And this is not going to happen solo. No matter how much warming up I do, all that stuff. I needed pressure. I needed a crowd in front of me. I needed a goal. I'm trying to beat someone. I needed that environment to be able to do this. And now that I have done it, it really helps with the confidence going forward when I go to do it on my own, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have things like that where it's like it needs to be something like this to make it happen?
I don't know if it needs to be. I mean, like I can't train by myself really anymore. Like the actual lifts, I can do like squatting and accessories by myself, but actual lifting by myself doesn't really work well. I
Yeah.
do have an awareness of like on meet day, I'll be fine. Like
Yeah.
I know that for sure because that's just the reality, honestly.
And speaking of you'll be fine on meet day, let's talk about this. Silver medal in the new weight class, 67 kilos. So these are all 67 kilo states PRs, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
See, we can keep branching it off on all the PRs we can get. You didn't have to cut for this. How did that feel?
Good. I will say last year similar things come up in like birthdays, of course, are at the same time.
Yep.
But I remember last year there was also a wedding in my family, like a week or two before states that I couldn't fully enjoy in terms of like even eating. Um, and then I have my oldest brothers are twins. They have their birthday in September. And then my oldest brother also has his kids who are twins, and their birthdays later on in that week. And yeah, the difference between last year and this year are they're parallel in terms of what I had to do. There was another wedding the week before this meet this year, and I was able to like fully enjoy them because I didn't have to worry about cutting. And even like mood wise, I mean, there were a lot of other things going on in my life this time last year for states, but yeah, just a different mindset going into it, and the balance of it all made everything a lot better.
Did that all lead you to just be able just to feel a little freer and have more fun?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Because this was a really fun session.
Yeah,
They were all fun in their own unique ways. I mean, yours is very unique because, like we mentioned a little while ago, you have the hammy tweak, a
yeah,
sprained hammy, and going into this, we had to take some time off right in the middle of taper. And but you're very good on like I'll just be ready. Like I'm confident in my strength. I'm not going to get any stronger or I'm not going to get any weaker with time off. And your technique is at a point where like it's going to be there. If you
yeah,
just stick with the lift, it's going to be there, and the competition will bring it out of you. This is these lifts. I think if we were in training, I don't know if they have it,
yeah.
but the competition itself, it just you and Schaff competitions bring a lot out of you guys. So you had warmed up with the squat snatch all the way up to 86. You hit 80, no problem. 86 was going to be our last warm up, and then we were going to open at 90. And you started to pull on 86, and it was a no go. You know, I don't even know if you bent your elbows. You just shook your head. Nope. And we had time, so I bumped your opener down to 86. I asked you, what do you want to do? 80. You said 86, and that you'll just figure it out there, right? And I had no idea what you were going to do. We went out there, and you power snatched 86 kilos, which I believe, on what I could find, was a PR power snatch, unless you remember doing anything heavier.
I don't think so. I want to say I'm not completely sure. I believe it's right above 86 though. So I think it's either it's like 87. I don't think it's 89. So I want to say it's probably like 87.
Okay.
But I'm not even completely sure on that.
Yeah, I was just going by Wodify and what I could find through videos. Um, but yeah, all right. So it's in the realm. I think I gave like a range in this post here somewhere on what it could have been. But like to be able to do that period on it's something that beginners will do. First meet, you're warming up in the back, full squat snatches. You go out there, you power snatch it, right? I feel like beginners have the ability to do that. And then people who really got their stuff together and have a lot of experience do that. Somewhere's in the middle, I feel it gets washed a little bit.
Yeah.
when you start to highly specialize in one and you don't have a lot of more exposure to the other. So the fact that you were able to do this and we weren't able to go under it, we didn't even really pull it in the back, I think is phenomenal. I think it shows a lot of mental toughness and just where your skill set is as an athlete to be able to make that adjustment. Did you know going into this that you were going to power snatch?
Walking out to the platform, yeah. Um, just because I knew that even getting set up, I couldn't do my regular snatch setup. Um, so it probably wouldn't have even necessarily been the squat snatch aspect of it. I just knew that I couldn't set up properly to do a proper squat snatch.
Yeah,
So yeah, it had to be a power. And yeah, it's one of those things where maybe if I hadn't done it before, um, like it didn't really matter. I knew that I could probably just figure it out. And yeah, there's only real two options. Either it works out or it doesn't.
yeah,
And if it doesn't, then yeah, we're done. But you know,
yeah. Like the worst thing that could have happened is you went to pull on this and did your best effort on a high pull, and then it's
right.
like shit. All right, where do we go from here now? Because we can't go down in weight. We're kind of stuck here now. Which it could have been like, you know what? We have to withdraw from the snatch or scratch those, come back and do some clean jerks because we still can do that. Um, versus at like a national meet, you're just done.
Yep.
And or we give it two more cracks, and then at that point, it's like, is it really doing anything productive? So it could have been a more disappointing day, but it wasn't. You able to do that? I like this look you gave me right after the power snatch. What was there anything going through your head on like we like, ooh, we did it, or that was close?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably just messy,
Hmm.
but yeah, it
But
was
look
kind
at
of like,
Haley's reaction. You see
yeah,
Haley's reaction? She's like, because so the funny part is Haley has no idea this is all going on, right?
yeah,
And is not expecting you to power snatch any of these weights. And she's like, wow. And then we move on to 90. That's a great power snatch. That's like the one we're looking for all the time, when like a little bit of lower hips and everything.
yeah. The first one was definitely like, um, I had to figure out, will this even work? And then like pain receptors, figuring out how is this going to feel when I move. On the second one, I knew exactly how it would feel, so I could kind of gear up for it.
Yep.
So that's why that one's cleaner.
I like how Haley's no longer impressed. You
Yeah,
surprised her
she knows what
on
I'm
the
about
first
to
one.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You surprised her on the first one, and he's like, "All right, all right. This must be the game plan." But it's great, great footwork, great catch. This is a states PR, and this is definitely a power snatch PR. This one right
yeah,
here,
definitely.
just a hair under 200 pounds. We had no idea you could power snatch essentially 200 pounds, which is pretty cool. And then we go on to 95, and this was a very very close lift here. Either instinctively you were going to the squat or it pushed you down. Do you know which it was?
Yeah, it was definitely pushing me down more on this one.
Do you think it's just you met it a little too high or cranked too back on it? Too far
It
back?
was probably more of the cranking. I mean, I was kind of cranking on all of them, really,
Yeah.
just because of lack of setup that I was able to do. Um, but yeah, I would say, and we'll see it more on the clean and jerks too, that the biggest thing was really my stopping power in my legs. Um, like as we get heavier, it's kind of just gone.
Yeah.
Um,
Like you
so
could tell right there, like you're in the squat, but like there's no like tensing of the muscles
right,
to block the bar from moving anymore.
yeah,
But I mean, we you just connected with 95 not too long ago. It's now your current PR. The This is one of your best 95 competition attempts
yeah,
on like it like connected overhead, pushed you down, And we're talking like if it's a little more forward, you could probably maybe walk it around a little bit and try to
Hmm.
save it, and probably would have. So it's like great lift. Like there's nothing to be disappointed on with that lift. That like and a 5 kilo jump because we're trying to make moves in the competition too. Um, I think that's great. Like I don't regret 95. I think it was worth it versus 94 or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
108 full cleans. This was another unknown as we were building up to it, and I would say the stressful challenge part of gotta walk around a little bit. Whoa, there we go. The challenge, the challenge of coaching this session was, especially on the snatch, I'm trying to get you warm and timed to go out and take your attempt with a 10-kilo spread essentially, potentially on the snatch.
Yeah.
Are we doing 80 or are we doing 90 or something in between? That's really hard to do. Like, like because the competition was organized in such a way where all of the people in your session space themselves between you and amongst one another that it let it work. You know, if it was a more tightly packed group, that would have been way harder.
Hmm.
And it might have forced our hand even a little bit, or we would have had to go way faster. Which the downside on that is you could be waiting a while.
Yeah.
And you're not a let me do a pull type of athlete to stay warm.
Yeah.
We have our set number of lifts that we're going to go for. But we got this 108, walked it around a little bit. I think that's more your legs, right? Just stopping
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Haley's happy about it. And then we go to 114. We've only just recently been cleaning these weights here. That was so close.
Yeah.
That was so close. And your stopping power looked way better on this one too.
Hmm.
Do you think you just dipped forward too much trying to get through?
I don't know. I think really just punching into it. And it might just be need more time at above 110
Yeah.
to kind of feel these out.
Learn what you got to do on them because what a different animal, let's say in the spread of 105 to 110, especially, or 115, especially as you start to get into the 13, 14s, and 15s.
Right.
And then we went up 118 because, again, we're making moves in the competition. Clean PR. Did that even feel hard? I mean, because that clean looks super easy.
No. And I knew I could do it based on how the previous cleans felt. I honestly, going into this, I did know. No, I wouldn't say, for the most part, I was 90% sure that I wasn't going to make the jerk, just because of how the previous ones had felt.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was still going to give it. But no, I knew I didn't want to say 120 because I feel like that would be too obvious of I'm just going for a clean PR.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think within my weight class, this was probably the heaviest attempt at a clean and jerk too. So
Yeah.
I was happy with that, to be like, oh, if this was a normal day, then we could really be in the mix here for any spot on the podium.
Yeah. And I think had you made 95 and let's say you connected with 114 or 118, I don't remember what the other athlete totaled, but I think that might have done it potentially.
Yeah.
We were in the mix. We were certainly pushing them and making sure that they were doing
Yeah.
what they needed to do because the thing is you're at the point now where it's like those athletes need to make sure they make their lifts and that they're keeping their jumps dialed in too.
Yeah.
Because you are dangerous in the sense that we could just go 120 and you might make it. Like
Right. Like I have no problem, especially clean and jerk, putting anything on there.
yeah. And you're only I know we say this from time to time. You're only 12 kilos away from 130. And I know that might seem like a big chasm, but it we have yet to still find the upper limit really on the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
We're still searching for where that is, and I do think it's somewheres in north of 125. Looking at like this clean and even the jerk, I think the more we tighten up your receiving position and keep getting that better, I think it's just going to benefit your snatch and
Yeah.
the jerk. And I think you would need a 230 to qualify for nationals if I'm remembering the qualifying totals
Yes. Yeah, I believe so.
that just came out. There was one point. It might have been between the 108 or the 114 or the 114 and the 118 where you flashed me a look in the warm-up room. It might have been after like one of the people we're competing against missed a lift or something like that. And we were going, I was playing my games at the card table. I don't know. There was a moment where the way I would describe it is, that you've seen the movie Goodfellas, right?
Yeah.
There's the scene where the made man comes back from prison, and he's talking to Joe Pesci's character Tommy about shining his shoes. And there's a moment in there where Joe Pesci glances at Robert De Niro's character, and there's like this moment where their eyes lock and their faces are both like stone, and they both understand and know they're making a trip upstate tonight. Like
Hmm.
this, like there was a moment where I feel like we had that look where it was like, yes, okay, we're in this competition and we're going for blood, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't know. It might have just been me that felt that, but I feel like every now and then we have moments like that where it's like, yeah, I'll bring the knife and I'll bring the body bag and the shovels. Like, oh, did you feel that at all, or is that just me?
Yeah. I mean, I was always willing to play whatever kind of game. Yeah, and it really was like I know that I'm not at 100% right now, but we're still going to take every opportunity. I mean, I pulled my hamstring again and I just made 2 snatches. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to do anything. I will say before we move on,
Yep.
I don't think I'm a card player. I think for me, I should, when I finish a lift, I should just put down whatever number I'm going to hit next.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All
Because
right. Yeah. I get that. I get that.
I know like people will adjust and all that, but like for the most part, I'm not changing too much my final number. So then, especially because I don't do any pulls or anything, and I think for me this time I was kind of trying to time my music that I was listening to.
Oh yeah.
So like hearing my name, then changing, now an athlete has to go and then they have to decide. And I was like so ready to go out there again, where I feel like it was just slowing down the whole thing. Or I think in the snatches actually, before 90, you put down 88 and then we went out and it was still 88 and then we had to go back and then
Yeah, that was a snafu on my part. the
um
I'm wondering maybe what I need to do is if I'm doing something like what I'm doing, I'm messing up everyone else's count and trying to catch people who are asleep
right.
and might not realize it. And I might even let your clock start and then just move you really quickly. And the next person, if the weight is the same, they'll just restart the clock and call the athlete.
Hmm.
So it works better when, let's say, if you're going for I have you at 116 and the other athlete's going at 116 and they're after you and they're maybe just trying to stay with you and they're not paying attention. You get called, I let your clock run for 5 seconds and I jump up to our actual weight 118. They're just going to restart the clock, and if the speaker's moving at the pace they need to do, that clock will just start and then they may be a little behind, right? Maybe what I need to do is tell you your actual count, which I think I normally do. I don't know. You understand what I'm trying to do, though.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it worked for me.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, maybe. Well, actually, I think this is maybe the most appropriate of meets to do it at.
Yeah,
This or the AO or nationals, AO finals. Maybe other local meet just jump you up. I agree. All right, Shaf. What a snatch session for Shaf at this meet. Were you able to watch any of it?
yeah. I was here.
You were there the whole time?
Hmm.
3 for 3 on the snatch, 2 back-to-back competition PRs. There's 104 for an opener. Then 107 was a lifetime PR by a kilo and also a competition PR at the time. And it could have just ended at that, right? But then, bam, we went 110. And I know that's been a big number that we've wanted for a while. And Shaf has done it from the hips and went out there and got it done, smoked it. Great fight. I'm glad he stuck his head through for that.
Yeah,
He stuck his head out there and then just followed it through, kept pushing it back. His wrist held up. We've been having some wrist things going on. And we were going super fast. He was taking his lifts left and right. It was not quite an EMOM, but we got him up to 100 and 101 was his last warm up. So got him up to like the hundreds range, late 90s, hundreds range, very, very fast. And I was more so coaching him a little angry because like some stupid meat trauma stuff happened right after your session and just before his. So I was like coming into it and I was just more of like get on the bar, do 70, like I was talking differently than I normally do. I was more like angry coaching and it worked out well. I don't
yeah,
know if Shaf felt that, that's just how I felt. I was just kind of being a little more short. Not that I'm mad at Shaf. I'm just like, let's go kind of a deal.
hmm,
Like make you better make that lift right now. And it worked. We gassed out a little bit when it was time for the clean and jerks, but hey, we got a total, and I think that's a fantastic snatch outing for Shaf.
yeah,
Great performance. Any thoughts on how Shaf did?
yeah. No, it was great, and I mean, it happens where, especially when you make back-to-back PRs in a meet or even in training, like we see it all the time where it's just sometimes you're spent, and I sometimes it's mentally being spent as well. Um,
That snatch portion was intense.
yeah.
Um,
So, but I mean, now that you've got those numbers and those numbers now exist as numbers that you've already hit, it'll be easier to now combine them with a heavier clean and jerk.
yep. The ceiling is higher now,
Yeah.
and the confidence as well. Like Shaf knows he can get to extreme maximum with no misses, no warm up misses, no nothing. Like he was on point. And
Yeah.
I know, like we have done some work over the summer to build up his snatch confidence. We did that at the Murder Crows Open back in June, where we opened light, and our main goal was just go 3 for 3 on the snatch,
Hmm.
make all the lifts. And that day, he ended up PRing his clean jerk with 137.
Yeah.
And this meet was very, very similar. I feel like his snatch confidence is high, and we just gassed out a little bit. I 135, 138 are definitely weights that he can hit. It's just the intensity of the snatches was great.
Yeah.
I want to keep it there.
Hmm.
I think it's a great thing. The just even the way he was going after the lifts, full commitment on the pull, full effort on the body. Like let's go back to the 110 here, because we've seen so many lifts in training where we kind of falls in front.
Hmm.
Bam! Look at that. He was pulling, and I don't even know his feet may not have even really moved on this one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Was this also a no foot PR? That'd be amazing. Double PR. Let's take a look here. And nope. All right, he moved him. He moved him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went for it. And then on the 107, it's I don't know. Do you feel like if, especially in a situation like this, you PR once, is it's easy to kind of check out and be like, well, even if I miss this next one, I can still say, look at all the success I had.
I don't know. I feel like I mean, I don't know if I've ever even too many times have been in that situation. I feel like you want to keep that momentum going. Like you almost go like, I don't know when I'm going to get this chance again. So I
Yeah.
want to take like to hit a PR on your second attempt, you go, okay, clearly I'm in a different form today. So I should use that to because I think all of us are strong enough to hit the weights that we hit. I think it's really like mental. Can we do it? And maybe this is my first time trying it or second time trying it. When we finally hit it, it just opens a door. So I think a PR on your second or even in your first attempt, if you really have to go for something, it just opens a door to make you carry over even more.
Yeah. And for Schaff, I didn't really tell him much technical wise. After he smoked 101 in the back room, which in training and prep, he was struggling at those top end weights. Schaff is a great example of needing this environment sometimes to kind of hit those lifts. And I think early on, I maybe told him to be way more aggressive with his lockout, and that was it. And if you watch these lifts, the bar drifts forward off the floor a little bit, or he loses his back, and then we have this forward thing. I didn't tell him anything because I don't want him changing anything now. Like we've just been smoking the lifts, we got the opener. If I tell him now on the PR, hey, keep it a little tighter off the floor, do this, he may change the momentum, right?
Hmm.
So all I was telling him was like reminding him, you want this. Like you want this. I want this. Let's go. We want this. To just motivate him to try, if that makes sense. And I don't know. I feel like it would have been the wrong move when he's going out for 110 to tell him to keep his back tighter or to pull the bar back more or whatever. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, completely agree.
Last thing I want him to do is to go out there and think about his technique. At this point, at 110, you can't change it. You're not going to change it.
Yeah,
The only thing you can do is put the effort in. And if you watch him sticking his head forward like that and walking it out, that's him wanting
yeah.
to finally do this. You know. So awesome job, Shav. And then we had Alex rounding out the crew. There's Haley again. Haley was loading all you guys' sessions. So Alex came out, and this is only Alex's second meet. So he put some serious kilos on all of his competition PRs. 30 plus kilo opener PR, or yeah, 30 kilo opener PR, and then that was 100. And it's like it can be so easy to for others outside looking in to see someone big and strong like Alex, and then even for Alex or myself to be like, yeah, we should be able to go higher, but like you have to remember the training age, right? And the experience. Like this is his second meet. The first meet was in our gym, which how comfy does that make
Hmm.
everything? This is at the state championships in a ballroom in front of all these people and national referees and international referees and stuff. It's a different environment, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, do I know he can snatch a little more than 100? Yes. But again, like let's play the long game. Let's get a total. Let's build him up. At the next meet, he's not going to open up at 100. Like I have to remember, I have to remind myself sometimes even I can't fully treat him like I treat some of you other guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we have to get those reps together and build his foundation out. And oh boy, when his foundation keeps getting built out, the weights he's going to be lifting are going to be crazy. It's like you can't rush it. Like it's coming.
Yep.
You know, if we keep putting the work in, he'll be snatching 120, clean and jerking 160 to 70 in no time. Like Alex is also pretty young, right? I think he's
Yeah.
younger. Is he the youngest on the team outside of Tanzira?
Yeah. Currently.
Yeah. So it's like can't forget those things. But 105, is this 105? Yes. 105 was a lifetime PR by 2 kilos and a 17 kilo competition PR. Like the fist bump. I should have panned with the fist bump though. I don't know why I kept the one time I keep the camera stationary. Then we went for 110. This is Alex's first time shaking hands with 110. So first time feeling it on the competition platform. We can totally get that.
Yep.
We get that. We just need a little more work. And then on to the clean and jerks, we stuck to the game plan. It's what I was saying before on like biting off too much you can chew. It's even easier to do on the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense on how like we could have just been like, F it, let's open at 140, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. We got it. Great opener. Then we got 140, which is his current PR, current lifetime PR. And it's almost even more official now because it was done with 3 referees. 19 kilo PR in competition. Great clean. And then the jerk. Boom. A much better jerk than 130.
Yeah.
And awesome celebration. That's always a good sign when you can with the heavier weight make it look better than the lighter weight, especially when it's 10 kilos up. I would after this, I would absolutely have no problem opening Alex at 140 now on the clean jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we have to, and then maybe even be more conservative and go 155, 150, if,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to start to close that gap. And then we had 150. Now this is, why not, right? Alex is closing out the competition. It's the weight he had in his heart and in his head. Let's go for it. I love the reaction. He pulled out that. He's like, I don't want any of that smoke. I don't want 150. So yeah, this went about as good, I think, as it possibly could have for Alex. 4 out of 6 lifts. First time at the state meet. Only the second meet, period. And his first meet also in a singlet too. Because remember, his first one, we were in shorts and the Barbell Club t-shirt. So this is fantastic progress for Alex. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good to just be getting these bigger weights, and I think, yeah, overall as a team, everyone has got. I think next year is going to be pretty big for our team. So yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's Alex is still in the fun phase, if that makes sense. There's a lot of unknown, still building it up. I mean, it's all the fun phase, but like he gets to do like all the first, you know.
Yeah.
The dark cloud of like trying to get 1 kilo hasn't descended yet, or your experience with the snatch on like 93, 94. Finally 95 and just letting it all out, you know, like just the patience you have to have for 1 kilo, you know. We're still making these big jumps with Alex as we figure out what he can do. Yeah, I think next year is going to be awesome, and for sure the next meets will be awesome as well. We got the Arnold coming up. I don't know who's doing that yet. I don't know what your plans are for that. I don't know. I think Haley said Haley's interested in doing it. I think Jennifer, but it's going to come down to school. because
Right.
Jennifer has so much school and clinicals and stuff like that. It's really hard to plan that far out in advance. I think Schaff is out. Yeah, I don't know. Are you doing the Arnold?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. It's still a ways away.
Yeah, still away. It's funny. It's one of those things where it's like it's a ways away, but it's like you have to like the qualifying period or that lottery thing is going to
Yeah.
start soon. All that stuff. Are you doing the Avitas meet on the road to states for next year? Coming up here in November. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on with that?
I'm not. No.
Okay, we're we're canceling those plans.
I don't think it'll be good to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Good decision. Good decision. No need to risk it,
Yeah.
especially when you have bigger fish to fry. Cool. Well, Miguel, any closing thoughts on the state championships?
No, yeah. I mean, it was a great time. Really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, excited to see what our team has up next. I think it was a good team meet as well for all of us,
Yep.
you included. So yeah, I think we're all going to use the experience of states to put up big numbers in the rest of this year and next year as well.
Yeah. I think like I said, the Arnold is floating around out there for whoever wants to do it. If some of you guys end up doing it, then I'll go out and just make it all right, let me help out type of a deal too. Might as well kill two birds with one stone and start to get points towards category 2 for IWF referee stuff, which I have several years of prepping for that. But um, that's kind of my plan with those meets. Like if you guys are going out, I might as well bring my suit and get time in the chair. If you guys aren't going, I'm not going. Unless they're like desperate and they call me up, please come. I'm like, I will stay home and I will definitely fly too.
Mhm.
I am not driving to
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio again. Uh, Maybe for forever. I just don't think so. And then there's also the regional coming up, which I still need to sanction. That I'm looking for that first weekend of April again. I got to put that together. So yeah, that'll be the next big one on the old agenda. So cool. Oh well, Miguel, I will be seeing you tomorrow, right? I know you were thinking about it.
Yeah, I'll be doing some stuff there tomorrow for sure.
Okay, all right. Well, once we get off here, I'll tell you what we're doing. So, Miguel, where can people follow you?
Yeah. On Instagram at couldn't be Miguel.
Couldn't be Miguel. Follow me, James and McDermott. Follow the Barbell Club at Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. Follow Albany CrossFit. Follow the Barbell Strikes Back. Or maybe we should just all get off of Instagram. We think about that too sometimes, but a lot of social medias. All right. Thank you everybody for listening. Miguel, thank you for coming on. Great talk.
Yeah, thank you.